All right, is this thing on? Testing one, two, three. Welcome in, Peggy. Everybody else that's lurking, what's up? No, I've been kind of all over the place, but here we are. Miss Dog Lover, how you doing? All right, let's talk about Abby and Libby's case, often referred to as the Delphi murders. Maybe you guys can help me make sense of it. Good to see you, Jody. Miss Dog Lover's asking, can we talk about stuff off topic? Probably not. Gets a little distracting. Depends on how off topic are we talking here. What's up, Redfoot? Right now I'm just going through the trial exhibits. Kind of looks like a shoe print here. Even here. See it? What's up, Jari? I'm here right now. In real time. Christine Robbins. How's it going, Jari? How's everything? You guys all set for Christmas? Yeah, you can see the moisture. And if any of that moisture or these sticks got in, somehow entered the foam jack port, could have registered. What was it, from like 5 to 10 p.m.? I thought the phone was found in a shoe. No, it was found under Abby's leg. And her legs are crossed because I believe at some point she was told to sit down and she crossed her legs and sat down. And she had the phone, I think, probably in a shoe, right? Hidden inside the shoe. Sits down, We used to call it Indian style. And while Richard Allen was kind of staging the crime scene and moving Libby's body, I think she was attempting to call 911 and access the phone. And she hit it underneath her leg. And before she knew it, he kind of crept up behind her and cut her neck before she even knew what was going on. That's why her leg, when she falls backwards, her legs kind of tucked underneath. It's because she was sitting Indian style and then fell backwards, and her legs were still pretty much crossed. And she, and the phone just kind of stayed underneath her along with the shoe. What would remove it? Well, if it was water or let's say a small like stick or a piece of a leaf, well, we know that gravity moves water. Um, Temperature moves water. Water moves wood or the small piece of stick. So if you have water kind of somehow exiting out due to gravity or drying up or whatever, finding a way out, it may tug on the sticks or whatever might be in there. And it could just be water alone, you know. 5 hours later, it kind of dries out a little bit. Yeah, they tried to get away. If everything that was presented to us, if that's it, if that's the story, right? We have the confession of Richard Allen and Libby's phone data. It backs that up. Those two things are really powerful, in my opinion. Like to ignore that blows my mind. Shadow, good to see you. Welcome in. See, this kind of looks like a shoe print right here too. See the indention? It's kind of like making a pattern right here. Notice the jeans wet and muddy, right? The jeans are wet and muddy. Why wouldn't the phone be wet and muddy? I plead the fifth. What is the paperwork for they just filed? Is it to try to get a new hearing? Yeah, I think they want a new Frank's hearing. Robert Bo Pinnell. What up? I survived 1 month in ICU, every organ failing. I fought my ass off to hear Sleuth once again. I'm so happy to be here. You did it, buddy. And God is great. Without him, there's nothing. Haha. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, man. Let's talk about what happened to Abby and Libby. What is that? Some pareidolia. Kind of looks like tape or like a handle, like a grip to something. Probably just a piece of bark or some shit. Do you think they will get one? You know what? I think it's possible. I think it's possible that he gets a new trial. But yeah, this looks like a footprint right here, or like a knee print, or even like somebody try to kick some leaves up over here or something. See, look, that looks metallic. I don't know if that's a belt. Might be a belt. I don't know. I'm tripping on that one. Yeah, good to see you, Robert. Let's go to shadow. That looks like a top of a shoe, like a leather shoe. Don't know what that is. What's up? CJK is in the building. Yeah, when I was a kid, that's what my parents would say. Oh, I'm gonna go take a walk, or I'm gonna go here or there. They're like, okay, well, take your sister, take your brother, take your friend. Don't go alone. Well, Abby and Libby didn't go alone. It was like a false sense of security almost. Okay, so if this was like a lone wolf attack, Rick walked across this bridge like he was very, he kind of moved with confidence. He seemed comfortable. If he's the bridge guy, right? All we know is that his gun, a bullet from his gun, was found at the crime scene. Your gun's not attached to you. And Reese said that he handed his gun, according to what he was told, that he handed his gun off to somebody, and he was kind of waiting back with Ron Logan. But if this was a lone wolf, Rick crossed this bridge as if he's done it a million times, told the girls go down the hill. Now they would have to go down to this area right here and then walk across the private drive. And they kind of, this is still like a cliff area right here. Like you would just, I think that's like 5, 10 feet drop off right here. So you have to go a little bit lower and then kind of wrap around. Now you're on flat ground right here. But this is like a cliff face. You know, it's basically like the equivalent of you know those walls they build next to a freeway or a highway to protect the town or the city or the people that might be living near that area. It's like a sound barrier. This would kind of work very similar to that if Rick forced him right down in this area. And this is what I think he did. He, you know, right here. So it makes you wonder, did he do this before? Has he taken somebody down right here and did something similar? He was very confident. So if they're standing right here and Brad Weber, his van kind of pulls up, they're way down over here, kind of against this wall. I don't think he could see them very well right here. And if Rick has forced them to completely undress, it would most likely have been at this point where he begins to undress, right? Off come the shoes, off comes the blue jacket, and off comes the pants. And before he knows it, boom, here's Brad Weber. You know, tired, coming home from work, wrapping around the corner of the private drive. The girls see this as an opportunity, maybe even begin yelling, help us up here towards, you know, towards the van. But unfortunately, similar to the brick walls they build next to freeways, this is going to kind of act as a sound barrier. And you're kind of going to be hidden right here. Right? If you look out, it's just such a steep angle. You would have to peek out over the edge to see them down here. But if you're just looking out, you're going to see all of this, but nothing that's right here against this wall. And I think this is where he took them right here. So when he got spooked by the van, the girls knew how shallow it was here. Right? This is where we go down. What did Libby say? This is how we get down there. You can't go there. We got to go here because she's coming down in this area. There's, I think, a picnic table like over here. There's a fire pit, an area where we can actually go camping. So if she comes down here, she's probably taken her shoes off and walked right here because it's so shallow. It's like up to the ankles all the way to about right here. And then in these little pockets, it's about 3 to 4 feet deep. You know, but you can probably pick and choose which one is deeper. This one looks pretty deep. And I believe it was here in this area where they found Libby's clothes. Well, they actually found Libby and Abby's clothes. They found Abby's jacket right here, Libby's tie-dye t-shirt, and a tennis shoe. But somewhere way up here, they found Abby's jeans with her underwear still in it. So that tells me that the girls were able to pick up their clothes, right? How, you know, what else could explain why they were right here, why there were no ligature marks, and why there were no defensive wounds? Well, that's because the girls had both of their hands wrapped around their clothing. They tried to get away. Now, the reason that I think he took off his clothes and his shoes was because the girls had a little bit of time. They were able to make it all the way to right here, I believe, and then up over the embankment. Yeah, I think they probably went up like right here somewhere and then began to run this way. By this time, he's got his pants on, his shoes on, and probably his jacket in his hand. And he's running through here, and that's where he catches him. See, look, it's barely up to like just over the ankles, underneath the calves. Eli, welcome in. Yeah, keep up the good fight, Robert. Not much, Eli. Just talking about Abby and Libby's case, trying to make sense of it. Try not to get gaslit. I think this is where we're getting all the data. It's from this app right here. Yeah, she really doesn't have anything on this phone. Let's see, she's got mail, calendar, photos. I wonder if any of these are a Vault app. I guess they would know, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure their forensics would find that. Stocks? The fuck? I wonder if she just left that on there. Probably defaulted, right? I think I had that on my phone at one point too. It's like, what the hell? But I could be wrong. Stocks. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Clarissa, what's up? Miss Doglover. And the fact that he admitted to wearing the same clothes as BG, I think that's irrelevant. Because technically he didn't say, like, hey, yeah, I definitely dressed like him. He kind of left it up to interpretation, I guess. He said he mentioned a black jacket and a blue jacket. Jari says, I think if they could have run, they would have. I'm pretty sure that they did. Like everybody's underestimating Richard Allen. But once he put his clothes back on, I think the girl struggled right here. We know that Abby lost her pants, so she might have went either chasing them or quick decision, like, oh well, I lost him. lose that and Libby to lose her. Also, Abby lost her jacket right here too, and Libby lost her shirt. So I'm thinking maybe they were having a hard time right here, and he was able to catch up to them. Everybody's like, "Oh, poor little Ricky." I'm telling you, that dude, he's basically a salmon trying to swim upstream. A little floppy fish. What's up, Frank? What if somebody else involved asked Richard Allen to let him see his pistol, and then he took a bullet out when Richard wasn't paying attention, then later he planted it at the scene without Richard knowing? Yeah, that's possible. And he has a connection to Dave McCain. So if he's working with Dave McCain, tearing down the old corn crib down the 505 trail, which he admitted to for some reason during his interrogation, right? He name dropped the McCains. That would have been a perfect opportunity for him to do it then. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just interesting to see it there. That makes sense too. What's up, Beasley? Think that was Becky's phone. She loaned her and left it on there. Well, I know that they factory reset that phone, so they factory reset the phone with Beasley 10 days before the murders, right around the time somebody was harassing her online. – 20 messages, 23 phone calls. Yeah, it's a lot of videos. 14. Maybe not. 14 videos in 10 days. Yeah, not really. But 80 photos? Damn. 21 applications. Yeah, I think they did run across. I just think he did also. I think he was mad about it too. I think he was pissed. I think he thought that he had them pinned down. He's like, there's nowhere for you to go. You can't climb the cliff. I'll grab you. And you can't go this way because it's water. I have you locked in right here. You're not getting away no matter what. He didn't expect it. Before he knew it, boom, here's the van. They're screaming for help, and he's panicking. And they grab their clothes, pick him up, and Libby probably said, let's run through here. It's shallow. And they know they need to get across the creek. That's where safety is. That's where they came from. That's where their ride will be. You know, that's where they need to be anyway. Right? Let's kill two birds with one stone. We're going to cross the creek and we're going to escape and we're going to get to where we need to be. But Rick put on his pants, put on his shoes, and just took off, bolting after them through that cold water. And when he grabbed and finally got to Libby, the reason why they looked different was because he was angry at that point. Whatever was the madness that he was going through, he took it out on her. Right? She's probably the one that was getting away. She's an athlete. So he could have just ran right past Abby. She might even have been, and Libby's about to get out of there. She's like, all right, I'll go get help. And she didn't expect it. Rick was able to catch up to her. No defensive wounds, right? It's because she's holding her clothing. Could have been Jari. Always wondered about Dave McCain. I mean, he's out there. Nobody talked about that. There's just as much probable cause to go serve a search warrant on him as there is for Richard Allen. Why didn't they serve him with the search warrant? And here's a good question for the chat. Why didn't Richard Allen's defense team go after Kagan Klein and Ron Logan? Right? Ron Logan has a nexus to the crime. It happened on his property. Right? Kagan Klein has a nexus. He took law enforcement to the cemetery there and told them, this is where I was, and my dad and somebody else are the ones that killed Abby and Libby. That is a nexus. So why wouldn't the defense team say, hey, look, here's our third party suspects right here. This guy confessed. He's the Anthony Schatz guy. I mean, they would have had the jury by the balls with that. So you have to ask the question, why wouldn't they go with Kagan Klein? Right? He has no connection to Richard Allen. It would have been perfect. It was him and Ron Logan that did it. The reason is because they knew that Ron Logan and Kagan Klein were most likely or could potentially be connected with Richard Allen. There's a good chance that their client is guilty, and those must be overlooked because they might lead right back to their client. Can't use them. I wouldn't be very smart. But they do have a nexus. Very interesting. Pix is 100%. I just find it interesting that Abby and Libby are on Snapchat, like right at the same moment, right? All the way to the trails, while they're on the trails, they're uploading stuff to Snapchat. Well, this picture right here was uploaded to Snapchat. And right after this photograph was uploaded to Snapchat, you have Rick's car zipping from the direction of Ron Logan's home and the cemetery, where Kagan Klein said that's where he was. Him and his father were right there, while his father and a friend of his went down there to the crime scene. He came back muddy and bloody saying, we had a good time. Right after, you have the black Ford Focus zipping from the direction of the cemetery, going in front of the Hoosier Harvest store. It's right after this photo, a minute, it's like less than 2 minutes between when this photo is uploaded to Snapchat and Rick, for whatever reason, decides to go and cut them off. Like, what are the odds, right, that they're being stalked on Snapchat? This photo is uploaded to Snapchat, and it kind of looks like Abby. Right? Why would the person uploading the photograph have a photograph that appears like it's being taken by her, right? It almost looks like she took a photo of Abby. So you have him zipping over there, parks at the CPS building. Why? Because, somebody needs to bring them back over there. Somebody needs to bring Abby and Libby back on that trail and then back into the woods where they were found, whether it's crossing the creek or not. There's two ways to get there. It could have been ultimately to get them to that private drive. That could have been the goal. Get them to the private drive and then take them to the CPS building. Thank you, Jari. So 126, right? This is uploaded to Snapchat. At 127, you have Rick leaving the cemetery area and heading to the CPS building. It's almost as if he saw this photograph uploaded. Redfoot yesterday saw a video about an online predator group called 764. Yeah, we've talked about that briefly. Makes me wonder if KK was involved with that. Yeah, remember Keegan Klein was searching things about servers, um, making sure that VPNs protect your information on certain servers. How long does DNA stay on a body? He was listening to the voice from the Delphi case. So he's looking at online how to hide his online footprint and also talking about servers, which is important because Reese said that he was running a business basically selling burner phones, which would be perfect for somebody like Ron Logan and Richard Allen, right? Oh, you think this is cool? Well, I sell phones. Like I can load this all up for you. And remember the ski mask incident. That could have very well been somebody that was another customer of Kagan Klein, right? He's using the Anthony Shots account the same way that Rick was using it, just to kind of follow girls and trick them and to find out where they live without, anybody tying them to the crime. So it could have been just Kagan Klein with all these different customers. Like, here's a burner phone. You get a burner phone. He's got 12 different burner phones circulating, Galveston, Kokomo, Peru, Logansport, Lafayette, Delphi, Battleground, all these different locations. He has customers and they're all accessing, these accounts that he set up. He just loads them all up on the phone. He's like, here, you get access to all of this stuff. $12:02, Betsy Blair showing up. Ultimately leaving at she leaves at 1:15, comes back. Yeah, here she is. Coming back at 1:46. She had to use the commode. $149. Thank you, Jari. Voice of the children. So 149, the girls were dropped off. And Betsy Blair said that she saw them. She's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw the girls. And that would make sense because we have proof that they were on the trail together. And then we have Betsy leaving right around 2:18. Sarah Carbaugh, right around 3:56. Okay, Kagan Klein said that they parked in the cemetery. His father came walking out of these trees right here, got into his vehicle. Nobody said it was a red Jeep. So they must have left, and Rick just started walking. He's like, I'm going to walk behind these buildings. Was spotted right here. Now, if he's wearing a brown jacket, we know that the bridge guy had something brown underneath the blue jacket. And according to Reese Davis, if what they told him was true, and if what he's, if he's telling the truth about them even saying it, he said that they all went to Lafayette to get rid of all of the evidence. So it's most likely Rick handed over the jacket to them, and they said, "Well, we're going to go get rid of all this shit. Here, just throw it in the bag." Apparently, this was a photograph they gave to Sarah Carbaugh, and she was doing her best to describe, like, "Hey, yeah, this is the guy I saw, but maybe it was a different jacket. I didn't really get a look at his face. He had his head down, but yeah, that's him." They're like, "Okay, well, where did he have mud and blood?" And she kind of scribbled on the picture where she saw it. And this is exactly where you would find blood on the killer. See, look at that, 126. The photograph was taken at 126, and here's Rick at 127. Right? Moving with purpose. Coming from the cemetery where Keegan Klein confessed that him and his father parked, they were probably over there drinking and looking at their burner phones and waiting for these girls to show up. They see the photo that went up on Snapchat. They mistake it for Abby. They tell him, if you want to save your marriage, you better hurry up. So a minute later, after the photo's up on Snapchat, he's already parking at the CPS building and kind of walking towards them with purpose, right? Realizes it's not Abby and Libby, becomes frustrated. That might be the reason that he gave him that dirty look. Right? If it is Abby and Libby, all he has to do is cut them off, get in front of them, pull the gun out on them, and say, "Walk this way towards the cemetery." Like, you're not leaving these trails. Go that way. vehicle apparently was backed into the CPS building. Well, there's Rick backing in. I wonder how long it was before he actually started driving the car. Right after it happened, he they tried to make it look like Kathy was the owner of that car. So I'm sure they swapped cars, and then he's like, "Okay, it's been long enough. I'm gonna start driving this car." 10. That's a rusty ass knife. It's like you found it at the bottom of the ocean on a pirate ship. See, this could be the something like this could be the murder weapon too. He had a lot of these. I think he got these from Walmart. This is what they handed their staff in Walmart. But at CVS, they handed them the flat box cutters, the little metal ones that you kind of just push up from the back. These ones are a little bit more pricey, but these are the ones that they gave you at Walmart. So if you see back here, he has kind of like a handful of those. But these are the ones right here that I think he actually used. See this one right here? It's like a flat metal one. That seems to be more consistent with what Dr. Core described. Oh, you have everything from fucking 1980, but you don't have your phone, huh? Kathy says he lost the phone from around that time because he ran it over with his lawnmower. How convenient. It's a good way to shred a phone, right? I mean, look, he has his still has his pagers. You telling me you still have these pagers, but you don't have that? The only thing you don't have is that phone. That shit is crazy. Right? You can kind of see the progression of his phones. He's missing one right here. Right? You can see the progression, the evolution of his LG phones. Look, all the way from pagers all the way up. Boom. He has them all. But right here, the missing link. Some cheap Walmart shit right there. These look pretty old. Dagger. Sure has a lot of knives. It's a lot of knives you got there. Thanks, Jerry. CVS red shirts. Yeah, and shouldn't this thing be covered in DNA? He definitely got rid of the jacket and repurchased it. There you go, Anthony. Yeah, he got rid of the bloody one, went and repurchased this one, and probably like rubbed it with sandpaper. Try to make it look old. Looks like he's ready for a firefight. I used to work for Walmart years ago, and we all hated that black and yellow box cutter. But there is something in the company's policy that says we had to use it. But we didn't, laugh out loud. Well, it has like a little holster. It has like a bigger grip. I'm sure it's for safety reasons. They're expensive too. I think they're like $80 online. So they're not cheap. Christine Robbins, is Richard Allen 100% cleared in Lyric and Elizabeth's case? I don't think anybody's cleared. I don't think so. There's nothing that's really pointed to him as a suspect other than the dates, two young girls. He does like fishing. You know, they were kidnapped near a fishing area and then dumped at a hunting and fishing area, camping. The closest Richard Allen ever got to Evansdale would be South Chicago, that area, which is like a 400-mile drive, I think. CJK, what a crock. He said he told her to trade it in, told that to the investigators. Only the tip of the blade would come out, and the tape always jammed it when cutting. Yeah, you can't have that. You got to be able to slice right through that shit because that's dangerous. There's nothing more dangerous than like a dull blade or a blade that's getting caught up on something. They're claiming he bought the jacket years after murder. So where's the blue coat he has on in the video of Kathy sneaking up on him? Bring me that one, Rick. Yeah, where's that coat? Yeah, pretending you were. Or he was. Maybe he was all fucked up, and when he got home, he was like, well, I finally did it. I finally killed somebody. Better get some rest, take a shower, and clean up. Ricky definitely had many years to get rid of anything connected to the crime and clean up. Oh, yeah. Anybody did. They all did. A little trophy box, little souvenir box. Would you look at that? Perfect match to the one found at the crime scene. Right in here with all his other trophies. His daughter's graduation, a letter to him. Some like little bracelets. Wonder why they took carpet from his car if they found nothing inside of it. Well, they were just checking, right? Grabbing the carpet was part of them checking. He still has his old Walmart cards. Like, what the hell does he have that for? Fucking pack rat. Right? So he can remember his time at Walmart. Support our troops. Harley Owners Group. Looks like he has some patches in a bag right here, too. What is that, like a ring or something? Good to see you, Seaster. If he did keep that as a trophy, what a sick individual. Yeah, that is sick. Look at it. It's right there. right along with stuff that his daughter made him. Like this, I bet you his daughter made him that bracelet. I bet you these patches are from his brother-in-law that passed away. I would like to see an itemized list of what was in here. Like, what is that? It's like all folded up. Yeah, you might be right, sees through. Maybe that's why he was out there that day. He was going to take his own life, and he kind of chickened out. And he's like, I'm just going to go violate somebody else. Yeah, Lethal Weapon. That's a good movie. Riggs, you're crazy, Riggs. You're damn right, I'm crazy. Says here on the side, April 12th, 2016. Just about a year before the murders. Looking just like the bridge guy. Crazy. Yeah, he fits the description to a T. Especially this one right here. And what the hell does he have in his back? Is it a camel? Is it like a rehydration pack? And notice how he wears his hoodies. He puts all his shit in the front pocket and it hangs down. To me, this is very reminiscent of the bridge guy, right? If he was wearing a brown jacket underneath the blue jacket and he has all his shit shoved in right here, his cigarettes, his lighter, maybe his keys, and a box cutter or something like that. But it looks like it looks like he has his gun on him in this photograph right here. Looks like it's holstered right here in its back. Right, wearing a beanie. That's probably what he was wearing the day he committed the murder, or something similar to that. Glasses. Ricky was in charge of crews at Walmart. Maybe he liked the power being in charge. A couple workers said he was creepy, followed them into the bathroom, take them to lunch. Yeah, and who knows what he's doing on the street, right? He had to travel a pretty good distance to go to Walmart from where he was living. Makes you wonder why he would want to do that. You know, it'd be a good time to get some privacy, wouldn't it? Using the hotel Wi-Fi to do your little CSAM, your little connecting with Kagan Klein and people like him. What's up, Stephanie? Now they're saying his DNA was ruled out. I thought there wasn't enough to clear. Well, yeah, it is ruled out, but you got to remember, all male DNA has been ruled out. Any male DNA that was found is so minute and insignificant that it could be chopped up to just being random, right? We're constantly sharing spaces with the opposite sex, different people. within our home, at work, at school. There's just bound to be very small traces of DNA from other people that would not point to them being involved in the crime. And that's what was reported during trial of the small bit of male DNA that was discovered there. Saying like even if it did belong to Rick, it's not enough to be like, well, yeah, he's the one that killed them. So whoever it belongs to, once they and if they're ever to find out, it's basically rule that it's just not enough to be meaningful at all. Like it basically could be anybody. Oh, you're talking about this other one right here? Well, that looks like the trail. So I don't think they're on the bridge. This is just the trail, and looks like where they may have piled up some of the wood from the railroad or something. I'm not sure what this is. It says Ricky looking down at the river off of High Bridge Trail, Delphi, Indiana. 2016. Yeah, I don't think that's the private drive. Actually, you know what? I know where this is. That is the private drive. Actually, I think you're right. I think it is the private drive. Here, let me go check something out. Here, let's pull up Bill's video. Let's take a look at this. I think yeah, I think it is down on the private drive. Maybe not. But here, this is where the what is it, a culvert? This is the culvert right here. Where people think that the girls might have been hidden in there and then later on somebody came out and like moved the bodies. Did you guys see it? I don't know if he gets a good look at it or not. You can kind of see it sticking out over here on the end. But this is like a big pipe right here that goes through. So that's what I was thinking of. But I think you're right. Yeah, that's definitely not the same area. So, yeah, right here. Looks like a hydration pack. Stephanie, I bet that's how he laid in wait February 13th. Yeah, just like this in the trees, huh? I think it's likely he sat down on the bench. I think he passed the girls, right? He's following Betsy Blair. Blair passes Abby and Libby, and then Rick passes Abby and Libby, and then he sits down on the bench and he starts to contemplate. Cartridge near bodies. Whose signature is that? Is that Oberg? Some more initials. BSO. Oz the Roo, what's up? I don't think so. Sees through. I don't think it's a private drive. That's a good question, Anthony. Maybe the Marathon gas station, perhaps? And also, he didn't set up this Food Jacka email until 2018. So, where's the email address from 2017 that he was using during the time of the murders? So, why would it matter his searches, right? And why'd they block this out? Must have been personal or something. I mean, it is interesting that he's searching the Delphi murders. And it's always like really late at night. Says here received April 5th. Or is that March? March 5th. Is that 23? March 5th, 2023. Do we have a phone call from around that time? So April 2nd would have been the first one. You know, these look like photos that you take for social media. I wonder what he was taking these for. And he loves that fucking shirt. Trail was gravel. I think the trail was gravel on the high bridge at one point too. The high bridge trail. Yeah, Stephanie. The only phone that could have cleared him. Yeah, cleared him, right? I like that. Yeah, it might have been the 505. The 505 is like it wasn't a very well kept trail from what I've seen. What triggered Ricky to follow those girls? He just blew past the other girls on the trail, didn't bother. Well, I think he thought those other girls were Abby and Libby. Honestly, I think that the reason that he was driving and he parked and wasn't really thinking was he was so mad and desperate about something, right? The girls described the bridge guy as moving with purpose and almost as if he was having a bad day. So he was moving with purpose because he was on his way over there to probably force Abby and Libby and whoever was with him into the woods. So he's motivated by something and targeting them specifically, in my opinion. His hair looks pretty curly right here. Some more of them damn box cutters just sitting around. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for tonight. I think I'm going to grab me a bite to eat and go see what the wife is up to. Maybe watch a movie and start to wind down. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Um, maybe we'll continue this again a little bit later. Maybe early tomorrow. I want to go through all of this. I want to go through the phone calls and his interview videos again too with you guys. So we'll do that again real soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.